What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Damo Tenno back at it again with another video. And this time, it's a cultural video. What? Yeah. I wanted to get at least one cultural video up before I started spamming with more kanji videos. So I got some in the hole. Alright, they coming. But today's video is going to be about the city that I'm living in. Specifically about the onsen, or rather the footbaths of the city that I'm living in. If you saw the last video that I uploaded, should be my apartment tour, you see that I've moved here to Saga Prefecture in Ureshino City. Now, Ureshino is famous for three things: tea, onsen, hot springs, and pottery, ceramics, and things like that. And I'm going to try to cover all three of those things here on my channel. One, because originally that's what I was gonna do in the first place. That's I wanted to share that with you guys. And two, because that's what my job wants me to do. You know, they're trying to get this information to people overseas. Now, right now, obviously, there's not a lot of people on the channel, and that's fine, at least at the moment. But I just want to get it out there, right, for the time. This video is gonna be about three of the most famous, actually the only three footbaths that are here in Ureshino City, and they're all actually very close to each other, and were built around the same time. The newest one was built this year, and the other two were built about 2 years apart. One was built in 2010, and the other was built in 2012. So yeah, they were all built recently, and they're all pretty chill. And it's right now winter. It's starting to get cold. It's the perfect time to go. The cool weather, the warm water on your feet. If you're waiting for somebody around that area and they taking all day, you can just kick your shoes off. You have a towel. Don't forget a towel. So I forgot my towel the first time, and how to do some maneuvers. Yeah, to get them dry. And yeah, what this video will look like will be the first half will be covering each individual footbath, and then the second half will be me kind of comparing the three, because they all have the same kind of effect. All the onsen and all the hot springs in Ureshino have the same kind of effect for your body, but for your skin rather. But each one has its own particular little traits that will make it, better for some people to go. Or you might think, oh, this one might be, cooler, or this one might be more my speed. They're all about the same temperature, so it's not like one's hotter than the other, and things like that. So let's get started. All right, we made it to the first stop on our list, Yutsura Hot Spring. Now, this isn't just the typical hot spring that you're used to. It's just a hot spring for your feet, right? In Ureshino, there's three of these hot springs here. Yutsura, one's called Siebold, and the other one is called Yushuku. And this is the first of the three. And it's actually the one that's been built most recently. So it's the newest. And if you look here to the right, you have this crane that's kind of like, placed perfectly in front of the footbath. And the reason for that is, it is related to the lore of Ureshino City. It is said that the 4th Emperor of Japan was on his way home, on his way back to the capital for a battle, and stopped in a land. And in that land, he saw a crane, an injured crane, enter into the waters. It was injured, but once it came out of the waters, it flew away without any problem. So the emperor, he saw that crane, and he was like, "That's some magical water." So he took him and his injured soldiers into the water, and thus had their injuries healed. And from there, he exclaimed, "I'm not Ureshino." I have this display here at the bottom, and Ureshino being what the name of the city is. That's kind of how Ureshino got its name. And this particular hot spring, this particular footbath, the name Yutsura was actually picked by the city, like by the people of the city. The city put out a poll, and requested that the citizens kind of give their opinion, give their input as to what the name of the hot spring should be. And everyone came up with Yutsura. Yutsura meaning yukuri, which means in English to relax, to kind of chill out. So this is a place where you can come chill out with your friends here on this little table. Just kind of stick your feet in the water. It's a pretty chilly day out, but contrast of the cold day and the warm water on your feet, perfect. So come on by. All right, we're at our second location, the Yushuku. Now the Yushuku, out of the three that will be covered in this video, is the second oldest. Now, Yushuku, the name Yushuku comes from the area from which it was made. The area, Ureshino Yushuku, was the name that this area had back during the Edo period. And once this hot spring, this foot bath, which actually is not water, it's steam, it's basically a sauna for your feet. Once this was made and they had to decide what name to give it, they just took the name straight from the region that it was created in. Fun fact, Ureshino Yushuku was the land that had the most foreigners in this city in particular. So, and I'll get more into detail when I get to the Siebold and explain more about the Siebold movie. However, just keep that in mind. So actually for this foot sauna, if you want to call it that, the way that you use it is actually pretty interesting, right? So you can see the steam coming up out of the bottom. You stick your feet in, like so, and your feet will never really get wet, but condensation. It's cold outside, it's hot on the inside. So you stick your feet in, you put a towel over your legs to trap the heat in, and then you put this thing right over there, boom, and it'll sit over your thighs, and boom, you're locked in. Locked in, kind of stretch your feet out, sit back, and let it work its magic. Now, all of the onsen in Ureshino have a skin beautification effect, and this one is no different, even though it's just steam. But the steam is coming from the spring water of Ureshino. Behind us is also the actual foot bath with actual water. But this one, unlike the other two, has this kind of sauna for your feet. So if you're looking to try out the foot baths here in Ureshino, but don't want to actually get your feet wet, I recommend Yushuku. Alright, we're at the third and final location. The third and final foot bath is Siebold. Now, this is also the oldest of the three, made about 2010, not 20 years. So, out of the three, Yutsura onsen, the Yutsura foot bath was made this year. Then we have the one we just came from, Yushuku. And now we're Siebold, the oldest, the final and oldest of the three. And Siebold is actually the name of a doctor, a famous European doctor who came to Ureshino to survey its hot springs and wanted to know if the hot springs in Ureshino lived up to their fame, because they were known to heal all ailments and beautify the skin. So he came, and just around the time when he came, debating what to call the new name for the onsen that existed at the time. Because there's also, not just the foot bath here, there's also actual onsen attached that you can go to, that full body onsen. And they were going to change the name, and they came up with many candidates for what name it should be, and Siebold was the one that stuck. They changed it to submit the fact that this famous European doctor came to this little town in Japan named Ureshino. Now, about that fun fact from earlier that I mentioned that Yushuku Hiroba, Siebold was one of those many foreigners who lived in that area. And when they decided to come up with a name for the Yushuku Hiroba, Obviously, the most famous person was Siebold at the time, but they already have the Siebold no Yu here, so you can't have two. You know, it wouldn't really add up. It wouldn't really make sense. So that's why they took just the name of the area for that one and named this one Siebold and this one Siebold Ashi. This one, as you can see, it's a bunch of rocks. It's a bunch of rocks, kind of old, you know, kind of have this kind of wood, kind of like temple style, maybe not temple, more shrine. I'm not sure what you want to call it. Kind of old, rustic, Japanese kind of style here. However, as you can see, it's very small compared to the other two. This is all there is. So it's very close, very personal, very intimate. So you can come here with your good friends, a partner, you know, and just kind of chill, play footsies in the water, and have fun. So if you're looking for a more personal experience, I definitely recommend Siebold Tamashi. Come on through. All right, if you made it this far, you made it to the final section of the video, the comparison section, where I'll just be comparing the differences between the 3 different foot baths. Now, they are foot baths, so there's not that many differences. You know, they're like distinct differences between them. However, each one has its own, you know, kind of unique characteristics. So I'd like to highlight those for you guys here in this section of the video. Let's get started. All right, let's go ahead and get right into these comparisons. We're going to go ahead and start with Yutsura Hiroba. Right, number 1. That's the one we went to first. That's the one we'll go ahead and start with. Now, honestly, I don't know why I put this as the first one. The crane at the front of the foot bath. I don't know, actually. It gives you a little hint at, you know, the lore of the city, right? Kind of lets you know. It begs the question, why is it there? And then you can go and, well, actually, the sign, which is the second part, is all in Japanese. So it's unfortunately you can't read it if you don't know any Japanese. But you could probably ask someone on the street, and they'd probably explain it to you as best as they can in English. Oh yeah, you know, because you're showing interest in their town and in their history, in their people. So yeah, no, but that at Crane is pretty dope though. I'm not gonna lie to you. The water's not coming out of the crane though. It's unfortunate. I think they missed an opportunity there. Right? Has a mini hot spring for your hands. All right, yeah, it has a mini hot spring for your hands. So this isn't something that you see often at any foot bath, honestly. Now, I can't say I'm a foot bath connoisseur and I know all about foot baths. This is the first time I've seen one where it has the little water, and I'll display it on the screen. Behind, like at the front, where you can just kind of dip your hands in. It is not a place to wash your hands, though. They do have a proper place for you to wash your hands, and that is not where you do it, right? And it's just as warm as the foot bath water, so it's all good. Now, the next point I think is really going to hit with people with kids, want to go out with the family. They have the smaller one for the babies, for the children, so they can just chill without, you know, you having to like sit there and watch them. I think that point, having like the kiddie pool of the foot baths, is definitely, if you're more family oriented and want to be able to let your kids just have fun, just kind of chill while you guys are in the regular one, and not have to like, you know, worry about them. Obviously, keep an eye on them or whatever, but I think that would be the way to go for the little ones. Next on the list, a bookstore right next to it. Trying to buy some manga, slide on through. It is the newest of the 3, built this year, I believe in February. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, you can definitely see it is the newer of the 2, just by looking at it, right? And it has a table to sit things on. I did not see this at the other ones. And you know, if you're just trying to, like, you know, it's cold out, you want to eat some soup or something, some ramen, right? You don't want to hold it. You just put it right there on the table, stick your feet in the water. It's chilly out. Perfect combination. So if you're trying to get a more kind of a new feel, like cranes, have children, come on to Yutsura. Yutsura Hiroba will be the one for you. Alright, on to the next one. We got Siebold no Ashiu. Now, from the previous section, you know all about Siebold. He's a great man, right? Great European doctor who came to Japan, right? It came to Ureshino in particular, right? And it actually doesn't have too many kind of like really cool things about it, except for the fact it was named after a European guy. The actual onsen, which is point number 2, that you can go to, that's right around the corner from the Footbath, is built like a European style building, right? I believe I showed a picture in the second section. I'll show it again here. And that's the only building that you'll ever see here in this town looking like that. It's got a bright orange roof. It's hard to miss. So that's actually pretty cool. Pretty famous, right? It's the last point, the oldest of the 3. So if you want to kind of get like a more kind of not really ancient, but an older vibe than the other 2, come on to Siebold. Smaller size foot bath, as I mentioned before in the previous section. So if you're trying to have a more intimate kind of experience, kind of close quarters, slide on through here. Now there's quite a few benches that one can sit on if you're waiting for someone and you don't want to get in the you don't like take your shoes off, take your socks off, and get in the water. You can just sit and chill. Because these are also, don't quote me on this, I've heard that these foot baths are just like common places that people meet up, like kind of like the Hachiko statue in Shibuya. They're like well known, so they're like, all right, yeah, let's meet up at Yutsura, let's meet at Siebold, let's meet over there in Yushuku, and if you get there early, then boom, you get there, soak, dry your feet off, and they here, y'all ready to go. Or at least in the case of Siebold, you can just sit on one of the benches, right? It's no biggie. But yeah, Siebold no you want a more close quarters personal experience. Just want to visit somewhere famous, somewhere that a famous person has been. I mean, it wasn't like the 1800s when he came, but hey, that doesn't take away from his fame. Or you just want to, I missed the first part. Has tatami on top of the wooden boards. Now, most places have these little wooden boards that you can sit on, most of the foot baths. But, it's just kind of hard, kind of rough. But here, you have like a tatami on top of it. Makes it a little bit softer. It's pretty nice to sit on, not gonna lie to you. So come through if you want to sit on some tatami outside. That's a new experience. And the third and final foot bath on our comparison list is Yushuku Hiroba. Now, Yushuku Hiroba is the second oldest. Now, so the first part of the list, right, multiple options. You have the Ashimushiyu, which is the steam, right? It's the steam foot bath, the Foot Sauna. And yes, you can see at the bottom that I have Foot Sauna 3 times. And honestly, it's also, it's really 4 times. I want beautiful skin, but no wet feet. That is the highlight of Yushuku, really. It has two things, right? It has the the actual water that you can stick your feet in, and it has the steam, the Foot Sauna. That is Yushuku, right? Yushuku is the Foot Sauna. That is what it's known for. And anything else, it also has a sign that kind of gives a brief history of the town, and especially this area, right, that I mentioned in the previous section, where a bunch of foreigners came to this section to live for whatever reason. They didn't give a particular reason, but they were here, and Siebold was also here, that famous guy. So, really aside from those few things, it's not really much at Yushuku. However, The foot sauna is definitely something like that might be what it or the only thing it has, but it is definitely something that you should go try out because I like saunas, but I don't like them all over me. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole body sauna. I don't know. It's kind of iffy. But just the sauna for your feet is perfect. And again, it's cold outside, cool outside, the middle of winter, middle of fall. Whenever you want to go, stick your feet in there. It's perfect. You want the top half cold and the bottom half warm. It's really like the bottom third because then it goes up to your knees. But you know what I mean. You get the gist. You get the gist. But yeah, Yushuku, come on through. If you want the beautiful skin, but no wet feet. Come on through. Yo. Just a few disclaimers. All three of the foot baths were made within the past 10 to 11 years, right? All three of them. Second, Siebold no Yu. The name Siebold was actually the name they gave to it recently. So back in the day, it was called Furuyu Onsen. So it's been Furuyu Onsen all the way up until 2010. And then when they decided to change it, then they were like, "Oh, you remember that guy Siebold who came through? Dude, that shit no way back in the day. Let's do that. Let's change it." And then along with that name change, they made the foot bath, the Siebold foot bath. So they just kind of go ahead. It was because of proximity. Go ahead and name that Siebold foot bath, right? That foot bath was not around when the old Furuyu Onsen was around, right? None of them were. Also, Yushuku. I didn't say this in the video, but I may have like there was like a white bar, like kind of separating the first and the third kind of points in the comparison section. And that was because I had thought that the Yushuku Hiroba had an actual onsen like Shiboruto no Yu, but it doesn't. It only has the foot bath and a foot sauna. That's why I say that. So yeah, just wanted to clear those things up real quick. Cause after looking at the video, like 10 times, I was like, I didn't really specify any of those things in the video. I didn't say that it had this name way back in the day and it's changed to Shiboruto. Like they just recently changed it. And that was also due to lack of research on my part. I assumed that that's what happened. I was reading up on it, hearing things from different people, and thought that that's what happened. They changed it back in the day when he came, but they didn't do that. So in around 2005, Furuyu Onsen was pretty old at that time, and the wood it was starting to decay, and so everything kind of needed to be replaced. And that's where the damage part came in, where you saw it received some damage. It was talking about the rotting of the wood, the decaying of the wood. It was on its last legs. So they had to shut it down, and they reopened 5 years later in 2010 and changed the name to Shiboruto. So that's that's what really happened with the name, right? Just wanted to put that out there. But that's all I got for you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. So I didn't say that at the end of the other part of the video. And let's do it again. Peace.